heard all across the United States, Canada, and around the world. This is the Bible Answer Man broadcast with Hank Hanegraaff. Hank is president of the Christian Research Institute. At CRI, our desire is to equip you to not only defend the historic Christian faith, but become an apprentice of Jesus Christ, because life and truth matter. To learn more or to find resources to help you grow in grace, call 888-7000-CRI. That's 888-7000-274. Or go to our website at equip.org. The following program was pre-recorded. And now, here's Hank Hanegraaff.
Thank you very much, Randy. Have you ever had the experience of perhaps sitting in a meeting and listening to someone speak? You don't really know who that person is, but you ask someone, who is that guy or who is that gal? You're wondering who that possibly could be based on what they're saying, either positively or negatively. Well, you can well imagine that that same thing was said over and over again with respect to Jesus Christ, because he is the only person who ever demonstrated the credential of sinlessness. John declares that in him is no sin. In fact, Jesus said of himself, "Can any of you prove me guilty of sin?" And he there is talking to not his friends, but his antagonists. Prove me guilty of sin. I mean, that's a strong statement. If someone can say they are sinless, they are saying by virtue of that, I am more than human. And that is precisely what Jesus Christ was. Not only that, but think about Jesus, who demonstrated supernatural authority over sickness, supernatural authority over the forces of nature, supernatural authority over fallen angels, and even death itself. Think about Jesus Christ rebuking. I mean, imagine someone rebuking the winds and the waves, and yet they obeyed him because he's the one who spoke and they came into existence. Imagine Jesus telling a royal official whose son was close to death that your son is going to live. I mean, you have to know the future to be able to say something like that. The four gospel writers all record that Jesus Christ demonstrated ultimate power over this universe, ultimate power over death itself. Of course, that was done through the immutable fact, the resurrection, which we as Christians don't believe as a function of blind faith, but rather faith in irrefutable fact or evidence. And if you want to see that cashed out, just go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15, where Paul gives a four-part ironclad argument for that very thing. Of course, I think the greatest testimony to Christ ultimately is seen in the lives of men, women, and children. Every day around the world, people of different tongues and tribes and nations experienced Christ. They repent of their sin, and they receive him as Lord and Savior of their lives. And therefore, they don't only come to know about Christ evidentially, but they come to know Christ experientially. He becomes more real to them than the very flesh upon their bones.